In British Columbia, invasive species have become a big issue over the years. Becoming more common, they bring many issues that need to be addressed. An invasive species is an organism that is introduced to a new area. There are many ways they can be introduced, but the most common in British Columbia include the pet trade, recreation, and horticulture. This has led to many species in BC becoming widespread and well established. The reason they do so well is that they are often introduced to areas that are similar to where they live or areas that allow them to fulfill their niche. Usually, native species do not have enough time to adapt to invasive species, which is why they are often outcompeted. Some of the more well-known invasive species in British Columbia include the American bullfrog, reed canary grass, and knotweed. These species are particularly aggressive, which is what allows them to be so successful. Invasive species don't only outcompete native species, but can also cause damage to local areas. Things that are commonly damaged due to invasive species include soils, forage quality, and infrastructure. These can directly impact human use in areas as well as wildlife. So how does the province decide to deal with invasive species? Well, getting rid of them through eradication seems like the most useful option. It is a lot easier said than done. Since many of the species have become so well established in British Columbia, the likelihood of eradication seems nearly impossible. However, mitigation techniques have been developed to prevent further spread and new introduction to the province. For plants, some of the options that are often used for mitigation include repetitive mowing, pulling, flower and seed cutting, flooding, burning, biocontrol, the introduction of a species that competes with an invasive species, and the use of pesticides. These methods' efficiency varies depending on density and species. The most successful methods tend to be the use of pesticides and mechanical pulling. However, these methods can be damaging to the environment and are often costly. While the most talked about species in British Columbia tend to be plants, there are also many invasive animal species that can cause problems. While mitigation is often limited, hunting, fishing, trapping, catching, incentive programs, and biocontrols are methods that are used to limit the amount of invasive wildlife in the province. Some of these methods are often overlooked, such as hunting and fishing. These methods can be used as a control and also an opportunity for recreation within the province. For whatever reason, some invasive species also have closed seasons in the province, which means you are not allowed to either hunt or fish them. Some methods, such as biocontrol, are also often controversial due to the fact that they may have the potential to introduce a new invasive species. So how will BC's ecosystems look in the future after the establishment of long-term invasive species populations? The truth is there's no definite answer. While mitigation is a good means of control, the questions of funding and long-term management remain unanswered. How long will funding be put aside for something we may never fully eradicate, and should management focus more on other issues? Many invasive species currently do not have the plans for complete eradication, and both the province and NGOs are opting for control, which will continue to prevent the spread. Similarly to the ecosystems and the wildlife in BC, humans have also not been able to adapt very quickly to the introduction of invasive species. There are certain invasive species that impact humans more than others. Knotweed is an aggressive weed that often damages foundations of buildings and other infrastructure. To adapt to this, new methods and new materials can be used when building foundations. This will help prevent the damage that knotweed can cause to infrastructure. Thistles, hogweed, and wild boars are also species that pose a threat to humans. So while the mitigation we are currently doing is definitely a step in the right direction, developing new management methods to counter the long-term effects of invasive species need to be developed. This should be a priority to help save BC's ecosystems and threatened species, as well as boosting economic and cultural values. While it may be a while away, all it takes is some research and a little effort to help in the adaptation of British Columbia against invasive species.